What's up, everyone? This is the Gary Watkins podcast. We are back with another EP here in season 3 as it's slowly coming down to a wind. So before we get started, I want y'all to be sure to subscribe. Turn on the notifications, like, comment, share, do all those wonderful things because we're gonna continue creating, generating this wonderful content. And yeah, man, so let's do a wellness check real quick. Take a moment. I want y'all to think on a scale 1 through 10, where are you mentally? I want you all just take a moment. Okay. Excuse that. So once you decide on a scale 1 through 10, wherever you are, talk to yourself. Why are you at that state? Whatever it is that's going on internally, you got to be sure to take care of your mental, your emotional, and all those phases. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we're about to get ready to get started. So you guys, I got an amazing guest that's came out their way. They made a quite a bit of a travel to come down here to Macon, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And I just would like for her to give herself a brief introduction real quick.
All right, y'all. So my name is Keisha Cartier, and I now live in Georgia. I used to live in San Diego, so I just moved a couple months ago. But yeah, and I am an entrepreneur. So
Yeah, that was up. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
Good.
First of all, before we get started, I want to say thank you for, taking your time today to, first of all, I reached out to her, you guys, because I don't even know how we came across each other on Instagram, but I just started seeing her content and I just see how well she spoke and what she was speaking. You know what I'm saying? She's just has a very uplifting spirit and energy, and I can just feel that, sense that just through Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So we eventually touched bases and we made it happen. It happened a lot faster than normal. So
Really?
yeah. Normally when I have guests to come on, we'll been reached out to each other 3-4 months ago, and
Yeah.
it happened later on, but I was happening fairly fast. And like I said, I want to thank you for taking your time coming down and we making this EP happen.
Of course, it's a good experience for me. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, she said this her first one, so we gonna see. I don't, as well as she speak online, y'all. I would never think this would be like her first time on the podcast. So, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I'm excited. I may want to do my own or may want to come back and do another
Mm,
guest, like be another guest. So
mm-hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what may happen then. So let's dive a little bit deeper into who you are. So you say you're from San Diego. Mm. That's interesting right there. That's interesting.
Why?
Because it's like, well, first, I think you might be my, well, no, you're not. You're not, but I know for sure you're my first guest from the West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah. And that just kind of leads to my first question. What brings you to the East Coast, to Georgia?
So what brought me here? Really, I wanted to move here a couple years ago. So as I stated before, I'm an entrepreneur. So I am an esthetician. And in San Diego, I had a shop out there, and then I started doing body contouring and then wax classes as well. So back when the pandemic was around, I did start a world tour, and my first stop was here. I had a total of 10 seats. They all sold out within like a week or two.
Mm.
So when I came here initially, I did the class, and it was a great turnout. And all my students were just like, you speak really well, you teach us really well, and the number one thing that they were blown away from was that I don't gatekeep.
Mm.
And I'm just like, what do you mean? And they're like, you don't gatekeep. Like a lot of classes that we've taken before, when we reach back out to our instructor or when it comes to even like the class, they were not telling us everything, and they were like, you went over marketing, you went over how to basically brand our business, you went over how to do it, and you were very hands-on. So I was like, okay. So that right there made me want to move, because they were just like, your business will blow up here. And in San Diego, it is fairly expensive to live out there.
Right.
So the fact that I was making good money, and a lot of it, majority of it was going towards bills, it was just kind of like, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So Long story short, that's what made me come out here because now I'm in a stage where I am trying to expand my brand as a whole and, just get into more things like digital marketing, ebooks, and really just continuing to motivate the public because I see that a lot of people look up to me. I was a young mother. I was a mother at 18. And I really just have been holding my own. I have two kids now, and in San Diego, where I'm from, it's more than likely you're either living with your parents or you're having a roommate. That was not me. I was always, I had my own place. I always had my own cars. I had two cars at one point, and at the age of 21, I was making six figures.
Wow. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So even once you moved out here, so when exactly did you make it into Atlanta?
I came here back in October.
Oh, that's my birthday month. By the way.
Really?
Yeah. But no, that's dope. That's dope. So did you notice a culture shock or anything once you got here? Like what's the difference between San Diego and Atlanta?
I would say it's more African Americans. That's for one, which I love it. And then for two, wherever you go, it doesn't matter. You could be crossing the street, you could be in the store. Somebody is going to greet you and say,
Yeah.
hi, how are you doing?
Yeah.
That does not happen in San Diego. If you do that in San Diego, they're probably like, why is she saying hi to me?
Wow, that's crazy. I thought that was like just a New York thing or whatever.
No, we're not friendly. I'm friendly.
Yes.
So, when people, it doesn't bother me because, I deal with people all the time. But out there in San Diego, that's not something that's normal.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Did you adjust to the weather pretty well? Do it get cold at all in San Diego or?
You know what? So I've lived there all my life and, it never really, I would say we had our winter seasons. However, now it's like, it's kind of like it's turning into like East Coast weather.
Wow.
Before I left there, we were actually on a hurricane watch. Yeah.
Okay.
So it gets cold, but I won't say it doesn't get as cold as here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay then. So you say the big difference you notice the difference between ethnicity from one coast to the other, people greeting you. What else that stood out to you?
The cost of living.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you said that real early on. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the cost of living. That's what really, like I said, brought me here. But also the support.
Yeah.
In San Diego, we get support, but I feel like with that, I feel like people want to support, but they're not able to. And that's simply because of the cost of living. It's so expensive. They want to keep up with their skincare. They want to keep up with their hair. They want to keep up with certain things. But since it's so high out there, sometimes they're just not able to.
Right.
Out here, I feel like they don't care. They're going to make a way to get their stuff done no matter what. And the support, I mean, don't get me wrong, San Diego, they have supported my business very well. But the support out here is just way different. Like, African Americans are willing to connect with each other, and they're willing to help each other grow.
Right.
I don't really see that in San Diego. Yeah, so I've connected with a few people, but you don't really see that. It's not normal.
Got you. So with that being said, too, can you? I think we missed this. Can you list all the titles, the hats that you wear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was going through it. I noticed, entrepreneur overall, but name the other things that you're doing.
Yeah. So I'm an instructor. Like I said, I do teach the classes. On top of being an esthetician, on top of doing the ebooks, and then on top of just being a content creator. I've really recently have gotten real deep back into my content bag. And I actually like it because a lot of females, they do look up to me. A lot of younger females, they do look up to me. And a lot of them are from my hometown.
Right.
They always ask me, how do you do it? And it's just, I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
Ever since I had my child, I had to get money.
Yeah.
I had to.
Gotta make a way for sure.
Yeah, so failure is not an option for me. So, yeah, so those are the different hats that I wear. Yeah.
Got you. So what kind of? So I think we all know where your drive come from, which is your kids,
Yes.
right? So with that, like being a advocate for women empowerment and stuff of that nature, is that something that came natural, or where did that got provoked or whatnot? How did that get provoked?
That's a good question. I do feel like it did come natural. Um, I really believe that it came from me becoming a surrogate mother.
Mm,
At the age of 21, well, really at the age of 20, I seen my stepmom do surrogacy, and in my town, it wasn't really heard of. Surrogacy was not popular back then. Nobody really knew what that was. And in case y'all don't know what it is, surrogate mothers, they are women who carry a baby for a couple. Um, and then, of course, they turn them over to them at birth. So at the age of 20, that's when I became interested in it.
mm-hmm.
And at the age of 21, I actually pursued it, and I actually was pregnant with twins. Um, and I was carrying, and I was just documenting my journey. And social media wasn't really, it was a thing, but it wasn't a big thing.
Yeah, it was
right?
growing.
Correct.
Kinda, yeah.
It was growing. So, everybody from my hometown, they're looking at me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're giving a gift to somebody, like this is unheard of." And they were just like, "You really are a motivation, because it's like no matter what, you're always just going and going and going." Like even before that, I was doing like just different types of things to get money. Like I was doing life insurance, and I had grew in that industry fairly fast. Like I had became a marketing director before I had even been licensed. So in that industry, for me to be in that position before I was licensed was big.
Yes.
So I think that's where my motivation really came from, and I think that's where women started looking at me as somebody that is just like a model figure for them. Yeah.
Did you go to college at all?
I went to medical assistant school,
Right.
and that was after I had my child.
And that's in that when you was in San Diego or in that?
No, San Diego. So I only moved here a couple months ago. But
all right, facts.
yeah, so this was back in 2013, because I told myself, I'm like, I can't do a minimum wage job with a child. So at the time, I was working at DD's, and I was making probably like $9 an hour. That's what minimum wage was. So I was like, yeah, no, this is not going to work for me. So I just went to medical assistant school, and as soon as I graduated from there, I landed a job. Right. Mind you, I was pregnant with my second child. So I landed a job making $15 an hour, which is way over the minimum wage. And then a year later, I had got an offer to start doing contract jobs as a medical assistant. And first job was about $25 an hour. And then the next job was about $30 an hour working with Kaiser.
Oh.
So I was making that type of money at the age of like 22, 23.
Wow. That's amazing money for someone that young.
Yeah.
For real. So with that, oh man, because you just, I really forgot what I was getting ready to ask next, because that really caught me. I mean, $33 an hour at the age of 22.
Yeah. It was about 31. I think it was like 31. It might have been 31.
Right.
But either one, $30 or $31 an hour, yes.
And you say you was working at DD's, right? Was that like a restaurant or something?
So that's a retail store. It's actually a sister store of Ross. So yeah, so it's a store that it's like Ross, but it's for more of like low income based families. So
right.
That's what they base it around.
Right.
So their prices are much lower than Ross, and they're affordable.
Lower than Ross. Well, Ross can be kind of, yeah, it's at times, depending on what you're looking at.
Right.
So let's kind of go back a little bit. You said DD's. What were like, because I noticed even when I go out of town, time to time, I'll hear about a restaurant or a place. I'm like, that's not in Georgia at all. So what's in Georgia that's like similar to what's back in San Diego?
Well, that store is here.
Really? DD's? It got to be in Atlanta. That's not around here.
Oh, well, yeah, in Atlanta. I don't know about out here.
Yeah.
But it is in Atlanta. What stores? You said what stores are not out here?
Yeah. or that's similar to what's here? Like, is it a Walmart over there?
Okay, yeah. So there's a Walmart, but you know what? We have a Food for Less, but it's owned by Kroger.
Okay. Okay.
So every time I go to Kroger, I catch myself like, oh, let's go to Food for Less. And people are looking at me like, what do you mean Food for Less? I'm like, oh, shoot, I mean Kroger.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kroger.
Oh,
so
man.
that's a store that's kind of similar. And then also Checkers. Checkers is called Rallies in San Diego.
That makes sense. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've seen Rally logos, but I never thought that was. I just thought that was kind of like a sub mark for Checkers or whatnot.
Right,
You know?
right.
Yeah. So let's talk about. You say you have an ebook, right?
Yes.
And it goes by how to be successful in the beauty industry. Can you touch on that briefly?
Yeah, so basically, I was getting a lot of questions about my tour and how I, started it, and then also about how I run my classes. I also was getting a lot of questions about marketing, as far as how to market and get more clients. Because, like I said, in San Diego, it is a tough market just because of the cost of living. So I was getting a lot of questions about that. So I basically decided to just make an ebook because at the time I was seeing that it was getting popular. So I was like, okay, well, let me just make an ebook. That way, all the questions can be in the ebook because I'm a person that will answer your questions. But it was getting to a point where I was getting overwhelmed by the questions in the DMs. And then a lot of times people are asking me questions, but then they're not making any type of improvement. Or, I find myself having these calls with people and they're not really doing anything afterwards. So I'm like, at this point, you guys have to pay for my time.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what made me really start the ebook. And all of the information is in there. So really all you have to do is follow the blueprint and you will literally start getting clients. I think the main thing with a lot of people in the beauty industry or in any industry is that they want the clients, but they don't want to market to get them. They have an issue with that. And, a lot of times it's just social media is so powerful nowadays. You have to market. You have to post.
Yes. Got to. It's essential. Right. So can you kind of summarize up the ebook, kind of just touch on a few things, the advice that you were giving to the people that was seeking answers?
Gotcha. Yeah. So in the ebook, there is different marketing tactics that you can do. I also put in a few content ideas. What else? There is also how to be professional. I find that to be the biggest piece of my ebook.
Yes.
A lot of people in the beauty industry, specifically from what I see, they're not really professional. They won't text you back. They won't call you back. They'll make appointments, then flake out at the last minute. And then, I see a lot of people being combative with their clients as well. And it's like, it's understanding from a certain standpoint. And maybe because I come from a corporate world, because I've been told this before, is because I come from a corporate world that I know how to be polite and I know how to give like the proper customer service. But from what I see, a lot of people do not have that skill. So I cover a lot on that. And then I also cover how you can also start a tour. And then also how you can get started as an esthetician as far as like going to school, what credits you need, and then also how to be successful in school as well. Because a lot of people, from what I've seen, they got to school and then they're just sitting around on their phones, not studying. And it's just like, what are you paying for? So that is basically what the ebook covers, how to be successful. And then another thing is I break down how many clients you need to have to actually get to 6 figures. It's not a lot, especially like if you're doing, per se, waxing and you're taking maybe 2-3 clients a day. As long as you're making because you charge it at a $65 rate. So as long as you're getting 2 to 3 clients per day, you're on track to make 6 figures. So I basically cover that.
Got you. Okay, then that's neat. Y'all be sure to tap in with that ebook because I can imagine it has a lot of game in there that you all can use and potentially make 6 figures. I mean, who don't want to make 6 figures like that? Yeah. So what we about to do now is go into the infamous trivia session.
The what?
Trivia session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So All the trivia session consists of is a game of either or and popcorn questions.
Oh.
All right. I used to time, I guess, but it got kind of, but we don't do timing anymore. But what I'm looking for you to do is answer on the spot, and then we can explain. You can feel free to explain why you choose.
Okay.
All right. So again, y'all, we getting ready to go into the trivia session. Keisha, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime. I'm a night owl.
Ooh, rap or R&B?
I gotta say rap.
Fruits or veggies?
Fruits.
Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers. Oh my god.
Middle part or side part?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to go with the middle bust down, y'all.
Okay. Short nails or long?
Me, I prefer short nails, and that's because I'm in the beauty industry. I can't have long nails.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense.
And it's classy.
What was the first thing you did this morning?
First thing I did this morning. What was the first thing I did this morning? Brush my teeth.
Well, I hope so, you know.
I was babysitting last night, so I was up with the baby too.
Got you. Describe yourself in one word.
I would say I'm very confident.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Which you know about X now, but Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Photos or video?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna say videos, and that's because of me and how I make my reels and stuff. I feel like they have more meaning now in today's world.
For sure. For sure. Summer hot or winter cold? I thought that would be an easy one for you.
Yeah, you know what? I like summer hot better.
Okay. Which is scarier, outer space or the deep ocean?
Oh, the deep ocean.
Really? Have you been on a cruise or anything?
I have, yeah. And you know what? I guess it depends on what you mean with scary, like if you were to fall in there.
Yeah, just in general. It's general kind of questions, but
that's a tough one because I don't think I'm scared of neither one. But I mean, probably the ocean, because if I was to fall in there, it might be over.
Okay, here's where we get a little bit more serious. Do you think life is more about attracting or pursuing?
I think life is more about pursuing. And I say that because I always encourage everybody around me, as far as my family, my friends, even my followers, to always pursue your dreams no matter what. Forget what these people say. Pursue your dreams, because a lot of times people are trying to pursue something, but then they always have somebody in their ear like, oh no, you don't need to do that, or you shouldn't be doing that, or maybe you need to wait, or maybe it's not the right time. And it's like, stop living for other people.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, these people do not pay your bills. These people do not take care of you. And on top of that, they might be hating on you.
Yeah.
That's really, in today's world, I see it a lot. And a lot of times people do not want to see you win, or they're afraid that you might surpass them.
Right.
So they might try to hinder your success.
Yes. And that's probably one of the scariest things ever. Someone that portray to be a friend that secretly got something against you. That's scary.
Yep.
Would you rather have the love of your life or the career of your dreams? You can't plead the fifth.
Oh, Lord, I can't plead the fifth. I was just about to plead the fifth. That's a tough one. You know what? I'm going to say the love of my life, because if he the love of my life, he going to take care of me.
For sure. For sure.
He going to take care of me.
Forgiveness or grudge?
Forgiveness. I've been doing like a lot of self-care, self-reflection, and working on myself. and I've had to forgive a couple people. So I think forgiveness is key to life. You don't want to keep holding on to grudges because life is short.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can lose them any day.
Any day. Loyalty or respect?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. Go with loyalty.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last one, loyalty or love?
I'm gonna go with loyalty again.
For sure. For sure. Okay, Keisha. Yeah, you did your thing on that. You did your thing. How you felt about that?
I felt good that you know what it made me think about some things.
Right.
So that was a good game. Good
Yes.
questions.
Thank you. So, are you really into music or kind of like today's music? I don't know what you're really into right now.
I'm
So,
into today's music. I may not look like I listen to like rap and trap music, but I really do.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
actually love it. That's what like wakes me up.
really?
Yeah.
So, who are you kind of, what's your playlist looking like?
I listen to like D-Lo. I listen
Yeah.
to Icewear Vezo. But then I also listen to like Sousa.
Okay. Vet. So even with the sound of music, and I don't mean to sound like a stereotype kind of person or whatever, but is it kind of like back when you were back in San Diego? What's the nearest cities to San Diego? Like what's surrounding? Is Long Beach nearby or San Fran?
Yes, Long Beach and Los Angeles.
They like neighboring cities?
2 hours away. Like Long Beach is literally probably like an hour and a half away.
Okay.
And then Los Angeles is 2 hours.
But that's, hold on.
It's going the opposite way.
Okay, all right, no, I get that, but maybe because because around here, because I do got to keep in perspective, California is big. So, because when you say like an hour and a half and 2 hours, that's like here. So, like when we say, so we're in Macon right now, the next big city or whatever, it would be Warner Robins, which is like 30 minutes, if that.
Yeah, y'all a little different here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that kind of blew me away is because it's so many cities surrounding and they're so close. It's not like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do have different cities like La Mesa, El Cajon, but they're all called San Diego County. So y'all out here, y'all have like DeKalb County, but it's like 20 minutes away or 30 minutes away, but it's like very big. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
No, it's kind of confusing because even like Texas, they say to get from like one side of Texas to the other is like what, like 8 hours or something, and that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But see, y'all counties out here are like, how can I say this? So, like for us, we have El Cajon, La Mesa, but again, they're all a part of San Diego County,
Right.
And like even Escondido is still a part of San Diego County, and that's probably like 50 minutes away. But like in Georgia, in Atlanta, where I live, DeKalb County and Gwinnett County, they're like close to each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you could be 5 minutes away from somewhere, but if you're a part of Gwinnett County, you gotta go to this tag station.
Right.
It's not like that in San Diego. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, then, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because if you ask a lot of people that's from here, you know where the Tanger Outlet is at?
The who?
Tanger Outlet. It's like a shopping plaza. Big. So it's between here and Atlanta. It's in Locust Grove to be exact. You rode past there for sure. I'm sure you did. If you came all the way down the interstate, you rode past Tanger Outlet.
Yeah, I know where Locust Grove is.
Okay, then. So a lot of people that's from here, like let's say if we're having some event in Atlanta or whatever, and we're on the way up there, and if I reach out to you, be like, hey, where you at? They'll be like, I'm in Atlanta, but you're just passing Tanger Outlet kind of deal. And Tanger Outlet, that's like another 40. Well, actually, it is fairly close depending on traffic. Gotcha. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like a landmark thing. But anyway, though, do you have anything that you want to touch on specifically? Anything that's been on your mind that's going on today's world?
Really, like I said, I just be...
You just in your own...
I am in my own world, but I'm also in this phase where I'm trying to just encourage people to just make money, for one, but like find something that you want to do.
Right.
And I say that because it's better to do that than just sitting there and struggling, or sitting there and, being in the same place that you were yesterday or even last year. And that's because of where I come from. That's all I see. And the homeless rate out there is just skyrocketing. Like, literally, they are number one in the nation now that is unaffordable in San Diego.
Wow.
Number one in the nation. And it did not used to be like that. So it's just like to see my people that I've grown up with, or that I went to school with, or even seen, like, just in passing or whatever the case may be, to be struggling like the way that they are. It kind of just puts this, I don't know, it just kind of hurts my heart.
Right.
So it's just like, and then you guys have kids and you got family that you have to take, that you want to take care of, but you can't. So it's just like, I just always try to encourage people to just find something. It's so many ways that you can make money nowadays, and it's so many ways that you can get out of the struggle. It's literally no excuse. And I say that because I have 2 kids. I've been getting it out the mud since 18, literally. My dad moved out of state at the age of 18 when I was 18, because they were stationing him somewhere else. So I've literally been on my own since then, just taking care of and doing what I needed to do. And I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it, because there's a lot of times where I was in school, in esthetician school, and I would go from work, and work would be, literally my day would probably start at 5.
Right.
Because I have to take my kids to school. They're in a 6 to 6 program. So we would wake up at 5, get up, get dressed, take them to school. I would go to work from about 7:30 to 3:30, leave work, go to school from 5 to 10, then have to go get my kids, get them ready for bed. Thank God for my mom, because she was watching them while I was in school.
Yeah.
But go get them ready for bed. Then I'll have to turn around and study. And on top of that, I was starting to make like content and posting stuff, so that I can start to get my clients for when I leave school.
Right.
So, it's sacrifices that you have to make today.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not willing to do that. So, that's something to think about, because whatever you want in life, you're going to have to sacrifice. If you really stay down for about 12 months or so to about 1.5 years, you're going to see a dramatic change in your income. Yeah. Because I'm living proof of it. So that's what I try to encourage people.
Yeah. No, that's hard. That's amazing. And just to kind of attest to that, because I had, back in 2021, I went through like a few kind of traumatic experiences, and it put me like in a real low, dark space.
Really?
Yeah, like I was really down bad for like through 2021. And I can just remember kind of going into, I went into, what's the word? Kind of like,
depression?
Not depression. Yeah, depression for sure.
Okay.
But I went into hiding. I had to go into this space where I had to reinvent myself.
Yes.
Because prior to, all the depression and all this stuff that's piling on top of me, before it started to actually take a toll on me, I knew I was very stagnant. So pretty much from the age of 18 to 24, I was like kind of like a stagnant person. Like I really wasn't changing in a sense.
Were you procrastinating too?
I think it's because it was certain milestones I did not reach when I was a teenager.
Okay.
So when I noticed that I didn't reach none of those things post-graduation, I'm still kind of like chasing and pursuing those things until I came to a realization like there's way more to life than, what your environment think you should be, So I started getting into things that's uncharacteristic for people where I come from. Okay. And once I kind of start opening my mind up to new things, new people, like the people that I grew up with and stuff, we don't even relate anymore. And it's because I surpassed them. I even tried to, bring them with me, but you can't make anybody do anything that's not in them to do.
Right. You leave the horse to water, but you cannot make them drink.
Facts. So it's just kind of thing. I went through that transition from 2021, which, you know, it's kind of like where I'm at now. Like I got a podcast, you know, I got my business with photography, videography, creative content. I'm like dibbling and dabbling in a lot of stuff, but it's all related to content. And, you know, thankfully, that's where the world is at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's funny that you say that because that was me a couple months ago. I was a prison wife.
What you mean?
I was married to someone that was in prison. But
Whoa.
we were together prior to that. So
Okay.
we were together for a very long time, like 15 years to be exact. And you know, he went to jail when I first had my daughter Loyalty, and then maybe a month after I had our second daughter Honesty, he went back to jail. So I became a prison wife. And I feel like now looking back, I wasn't really happy. And I wasn't really able to pour into myself like how I am now. Because it was always either I'm doing something for him or I'm running to the store to get these JPays or whatever the case may be. I'm driving to visits. I'm doing this, that, and the third. And then on top of that, I'm having to deal with the girls. And then on top of that, I'm having to deal with school on top of running a business, right? So when he finally came home, which is probably about last year, we just didn't work. So I went into this, and I felt like my whole world was falling apart. And I had to really, really, tap in with myself. And I had to really realize, all this time, I really haven't been happy. All this time, I could have been probably so much further because that was the whole reason why I didn't move to Atlanta when I wanted to, was because I had to be considerate because, you know, once he comes home, he can't just up and leave. So I feel like I fell into this depression where I kind of just stopped everything because, I don't know, I just felt like my whole world was crashing. So I really had to dive into myself and really get back up to speed. And that's what really led me to just start really motivating people even more than what I already was doing beforehand. And just really I just had to really get back to myself because I found myself being stagnant.
Yes.
Because I was so depressed. But as soon as I got myself back up, I met somebody. I was doing more things for myself. I was saving more money.
Yeah.
Literally saving more money. And honestly, to be very honest with you, a lot of opportunities started opening up.
Wow.
And I feel like God had a major play into that. And I feel like he had a plan for me because as soon as I started getting back to myself and realizing, you know, you are the breadwinner. Why are you like this right now? You need to pick yourself back up and get back to that boss bitch that you are.
Right.
So literally, because I do work a 9 to 5 now, and it was because I went into cybersecurity. I'm in school for cybersecurity. So I used to work for the government, but then I left to work full time for myself. But then I got into an accident, and I was out of work for about 2 weeks. And I was like, dang, I cannot work on clients right now because I got hit.
Yeah.
And I was injured. I'm like, I can't just be sitting around like that. So me being that hustler that I am, I started tapping into cybersecurity. I got back into school, and I decided, because my supervisor was like, you know, if you ever want to come back, just text us.
Oh, man.
So I texted them like, hey, I'm about to go to school. I need to be in the government for when I graduate. Am I able to come back? No problem. Got in there, right? So when I decided to move to Atlanta, which was in August, literally on my daughter's birthday, I said, I'm gonna apply so that I can transfer. Because at the government, you can transfer, but you have to actually apply on the USA jobs.
Right.
So I applied for Atlanta, and keep in mind that with the government, everything is a wait. Everything's a wait. So when a job closes, it usually takes them about 2 weeks to go ahead and call you back, if not longer. I applied for this job. They called me the next week. Usually interviews happen that next week. They wanted to interview me 2 days later.
Wow.
Yeah, so they interviewed me 2 days later. Now, keep in mind, when they hire people, they usually don't tell you until about 2 weeks. They called me the next day.
Man.
They called me the next day
Yeah.
and offered me the position. So I feel like God had a plan, because there's no way that could have happened that fast and within a week, because I gave myself 6 months to move.
Yeah.
So it went from 6 months to 6-7 weeks.
Wow.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was God's timing, and I feel like it wouldn't have. I feel like He was telling me something like, whatever you want to do, you can really do it. You always do. So you need to get back up on your feet and get to work. Get back to work.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And now we're here, and now I'm looking for another shop to open my business back up. And it's just been a blessing.
Yes. No, that's an amazing testimony there. That's amazing.
So I feel where you're coming from.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, man, y'all have it right here, man. Keisha, dogs. I mean, I'm glad we made this happen. This is beautiful. This is beautiful on this wonderful Sunday. So what we about to do now, we're getting ready to go into the closing remarks. And all the closing remarks consist of is, I always like for my guests to, you gave us your testimony, but I would like for you to kind of briefly and summarize up words for the listeners out there, the people that's watching, that can motivate them, that's going through or been through what we've been through, where they had those low valley moments. What's something you can tell those people to uplift their spirit and help them get up, move forward, and get back on track, pursue their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, whatever it may be?
Yeah. What I would tell the listeners is, if you do want to do something, just get up and do it. If you have to sit there and research for hours and lock yourself in a room, go ahead and lock yourself in that room. Put your phone down. Don't be on social media, because a lot of times that's where our time is wasted. We try to scroll for 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes turn into 2 hours, when really what you have been doing for just scrolling into your 2 hours, you could have been making yourself knowledgeable of something that you want to do or you want to pursue. So I would encourage the listeners to just go after what it is that you want to do, but keep in mind that you have to put in the legwork. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be something that you could just sit on, and you literally cannot post one time about it. You have to keep on posting about it. And, we all have our days. I'm sure there's times where you are not posting consistently. There's been times where I'm not posting consistently because I'm getting distracted, right?
For sure.
But try to eliminate those distractions. And that's whether it's friends, whether it's family, because people will weigh down on you. Somebody told me once that there are such things as energy vampires.
Yeah.
Well, they will drain your energy, and they take joy out of it. Like they literally get a kick out of it. So you really need to evaluate your circle as well. If you are not on the same mindset as your friends and they're not willing to elevate with you, then maybe it's time to get a new circle. Because my circle, we're all aligned, and we are all elevating, and we are all willing to pour into each other. And when we see each other not doing something that we're supposed to do, we check each other. So you have to have that type of circle to elevate, but you just gotta stay focused and put in the legwork. So that's my advice to the listeners, and really to just follow your dreams. Yes. Even if you're doing 5 different things, it's okay. It's okay. As long as you're doing what you want to do and you're happy at it, do it.
Yes.
Forget what these people say.
For sure. Oh, man. It's amazing. I really do appreciate you coming down here. We making this happen. And go ahead and drop all your socials real quick. Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're on, all your platforms.
Gotcha. So I do have a YouTube. It is Keisha Cartier. So Keishacartier. My TikTok and my Instagram, it's the same. It's I am Keisha Cartier. And then I'm missing one. I'm trying to think of it.
You good? We're going to put all these in the description for sure.
Gotcha. And then my business Instagram is SD Haven of Beauty. So SDHAVEN of Beauty.
Got you. Amazing. That's great stuff right there. Again, guys, I appreciate everyone that's tuned into this EP, man. Like I say, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those things. Turn on the notifications and tap in. Y'all check the description if you want to find her. You'll be able to get her ebook. Subscribe to her channel as well. All those things, man. Follow her because, you know, ever since I discovered her, which was not too long ago, she has one of those spirits, those energies I can just feel through the phone that just really helped me, you know, just move forward, get up, and making sure that we're focused, tunnel vision. So again, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. This is the Gary Watkins podcast. You all stay blessed, stay prayed up, get your money, stay out the way. Hey, we'll be back next time. Peace.